Ireland is famous for its beauty and its scenery. Our spectacular and dramatic countryside offers a range of tracks and trails, much of it unexplored. Diarmuid Gavin will travel 18 kilometres of the newly opened Greenway in Mayo with his young daughter Eppy.
I think it'll be special having a little journey with family at home. It'll almost be like the world stopping for a few days and me going on a little ramble and then a little cycle and opening my eyes and spending some nice time with my 5-year-old daughter. Nothing could beat that as far as I'm concerned. It's a long journey. I've brought our provisions with sandwiches, some fruit, bananas, my favourite for energy, a couple of bottles of water. Eppy, are we ready to go?
Yeah.
Ready, steady, go! Off we are, 18 kilometres.
I definitely don't want to stop leaving this place.
So Eppy, this used to be an old railway line and now it's been made into a road for cycling. For people like me and people like you with your courage. It's good, isn't it? All right. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
The Greenway follows the track of the old railway line from Newport to Mulranny.
Way! I love going down hills and straight on. One of the things that makes this journey so spectacular, very special indeed, is the solitude. You will meet the occasional cyclist, the occasional walker along the track, but really you don't hear the sounds that we've got used to these days. There's no traffic whatsoever. Looking at the landscape, we have trees that have been windswept, wind pruned. As a train track, as a journey, it must have been spectacular going through an unspoilt landscape. As a place to cycle through, well, there's nothing that beats it.
Eppy is intrigued by the sheep and the wildlife, so they stop for a closer look. This stone-cut 7-arch bridge, which spans the Black Oak River, was one of the last stone bridges built by the railway company in 1894. It was in service until 1937.
And it does also at the same time. Do you know what she said her favourite thing is? Being in her courage, me doing all the work, like I'm her servant. I'll servant you. You cheeky monkey. You see all the track here? Do you know what was here?
No.
Choo-choo trains. They used to come all the way from Dublin on this track and they used to go right the way down there. Isn't that amazing?
Mm-hmm.
And so there used to be trains running here every day and then they stopped the trains and nothing happened for years.
Historian Jonathan Beaumont, the author of Rails to Achill, joins Eppy and her dad on his morning cycle.
It's a great amenity. You're getting
It's brilliant. They've done an excellent job here.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
When it was operating as a railway, it was described as one of the most scenic railway journeys in the British Isles. It was opened in 1895. As it was then, the British government was trying to develop areas like this to open them up for commerce and tourism. The rationale was that if they built railways with government assistance in areas that economic circumstances wouldn't normally warrant, that it would give a boost to the area. In reality, the opposite happened. It helped people emigrate.
So it took people away.
Yes. Nobody could have foreseen in 30, 40 years' time the invention of the car, tarmac roads and so on. Nobody could have foreseen that. So they gradually improved the roads and bus services started. People bought lorries and cars. The railways, like in many rural areas, carried even fewer passengers and they closed them as economy measures.
How long did it operate for?
It operated until 1937.
The majestic Nephin Mountains come into view as the cycle progresses.
Beautiful gorse everywhere. It looks so good. And smells slightly of coconut. The Greenway crosses about 52 different people's land, and it is quite amazing because you're in off the road, you're seeing all these little parcels of life. What I love is passing fields like this and seeing rushes that are growing and sedges that are growing in this bogland down below. And you know, it cost me a fortune trying to achieve that exact look from garden centres. Normally you just don't take the time to stop and observe. You know, there's a certain breed of people who we all know every weekend are out there in their wet weather gear and they're climbing up mountains and hills and cycling, doing everything like that. I'm not one of them, but this makes it very easy to be.
Another few kilometres through the Mayo farmlands, and they meet local farmer Mary Cannon.
Mary.
Hello.
You're one of 52 farmers along the route
Yes,
who
I am.
have
We
allowed
are.
this tract to come through their
Yes,
land.
and we're delighted.
Was that a big decision?
No, we were asked about it and we signed straight away because we knew it was going to be an advantage to the
And have
area
you-
and to ourselves and everybody. You'll never be without meeting somebody when you come out, even evening. And Sundays are really, really busy. We were out now on Sunday and I'd say we met 35 or 40 bicycles on it. We're delighted. It's great to see people on it. It's lovely.
Right.
On it. I never thought I'd meet you around here, but that's the way. Okay,
See you now.
safe journey
Bye.
on to Mulranny. Bye.
You ready? This is Eppy. Say hello to Zach, Eppy. You're having a good day, are you? Show me how good at cycling you are. Go. Off you go.
The country air always makes people hungry, so it's time for a break and a bite to eat.
Do you like these carriages?
Yes.
And there's your hut that you love.
Da-da.
This is Bunnahoona Bridge. Here, what used to happen before, during and indeed after the railway, the women used to come and wash all their clothes, like a scene from the African savannah in a way, by the river, beating the clothes off rocks, and it was a good bathing place for them too. It really is spectacular the way the water crawls through this valley, right the way under the bridge and eventually out to the sea. But it's not only the water doing this. Look at this gorse in full flower, flowing down the gorge and in under the bridge and off into the distance, and it spreads out below here. And underneath it, that purple heather just looks fantastic. And there's a few rhododendron which have sprouted. It is beautiful here, and I could stay looking at these views all day. I better push on. look at that now. How brilliant is that?
Leaving Bunnahoona behind, the wonderful vistas of Clew Bay and Croagh Patrick are revealed in full glory.
See the big mountain? Well, that's called Croagh Patrick. When I was a little boy, about the age of 8, I climbed to the top of Croagh Patrick without any shoes and without any socks. So did you enjoy our big cycle today? Do you know how many kilometres we did? 18.
The cycle part of the day is almost complete, so Daddy and daughter take time out.
Do you want to get out of your carriage? You love this game, do you? Oh! Oh! Okay, well, you've been very good to travel. Will we have a handshake? Let's sit here and wait for a train. Look in the distance. Is a train ever going to become? Right, you've been a brilliant passenger. Off we go. See this hotel, Eppy? When I was your age, and it was falling apart. There was nobody inside.
Did it actually fall apart?
Didn't actually fall apart. I caught it just in time.
Arriving in Mulranny to spectacular views of the causeway and its drumlins, Sean Carolyn is a local botanical enthusiast and he shares many of Diarmuid's interests.
Dunes, of course, are fascinating landscapes because they're actually created by communities of plants. What you have at the front is you have salt-tolerant species that start to grow out of the shore, and then semi-salt-tolerant grass species come in, and then you have the marram grass, which really helps to build up a dune.
And it binds everything together.
Binds everything together, absolutely, yeah. And then later on, when you have maybe grazing and that, you have pioneering flower species come in, like birds with trefoil, white clover and red clover, and they start to build up a soil cover on the sand.
The fresh air and the 18 kilometres has taken its toll on little Eppy, but Diarmuid is off to further explore the terrain back to the Greenway by foot. He's chosen to do the Dorada Burashu loop.
It was wonderful having Eppy for company, but it's also quite nice to be solitary in this landscape, because it gives you time with your own thoughts and time to really stop and look. I love this pink heather. The rock here is a pinky purpley sandstone. All fits very well, creates a kind of luxurious wash that's come up from this lake. I am familiar with this stone. Years ago, I created a garden at a garden festival in the RDS in Dublin, and we built the ruin of an Irish cottage from this very pink stone. And the remnants of that Irish cottage are now in my mum's back garden in Rathfarnham back in Dublin. So it's nice to see where it all comes from. I've been joined in my solitude by a little flock of sheep who are wandering down the rocky shoreline to have a drink in the lake. It's really beautiful. It really is at times like this that you'd love to be a painter, because that line of purple with that heath just above the rockline is so subtle, and the gentle undulations of the rocky hills. Very, very nice. Yourself.
On a walk like this, Diarmuid is always likely to meet a local farmer who directs him further along the trail to a salmon leap, where he meets the engineer, Russell Poole.
If you were looking at it from the bridge, just passing by, you wouldn't really know what it was. I was talking to a guy who lives around here just a few minutes ago, and he says there's a lot less salmon than there used to be.
I'd say we're looking at probably about a third less and declining survival in the sea almost annually.
And reasons for that, or do we know?
No, that's under investigation, but it is almost certainly to do with performance in the sea.
The fish coming down are fed through this channel into that room.
Yeah.
And that's where they're counted.
And we count them manually and release them into the river again.
So it's not done electronically at all?
No. And it was built in the late 1960s by a joint funded project by Guinness's and the state.
Why would Guinness have been involved in it?
I think some of the Guinness directors were avid fishermen, and they had a keen interest on what drives the numbers of fish and why do some fish stay in the sea for 2 years or 3 years before they come back. We know they go into the Norwegian Sea, we know they go to Greenland, but we don't know an awful lot about how they get there or why they go there or what they do when they get there. And the eels go in the opposite direction. They go to the Bermuda or down in the Caribbean, and they leave from here as well.
I'm kind of with the eels on that one.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm just walking on my loop trail, and all of a sudden there's an intersection.
Crossing the Greenway again, Diarmuid bumps into some school children who are cycling home from Newport.
We cycled from school, yeah.
And are you able to cycle now from school?
Yeah.
Very good. Did you get a new bike for it?
I had this bike for a year.
Have you? Hi girls and boys.
Well, Cow Day is about, not saving energy.
Very
Stuff
good.
like that.
So that means cow, C-O-W, cycle on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Trot
And
on
no
Tuesday.
car Thursday.
And no car Thursday. So this is all about the boys and girls of Mayo looking after the planet, is it?
Yeah.
Aren't you fine things? That's absolutely brilliant.
It's happening in Westport too.
In Westport, okay. But Newport is better, is it? Is there a bit of competition between Newport and Westport?
Yeah.
I think there probably is.
Bye.
Do you enjoy cycling along the new pathway?
Yes.
What's the best thing about it?
It's much safer.
It's very safe, isn't it? Because there's no cars on that. Right, why don't you go off and I'll go off on my walk. Lovely to meet you.
Bye.
Bye. Aren't they great? Isn't that lovely? It's funny though, railway view. It's the only thing you don't see are trains. This is really beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. It's a small lake surrounded by rushes and grasses. Heavenly. Do you know what I really love about this? Mayo is full of really beautiful scenery. You have acres and acres of beaches. You have Croagh Patrick, the views are amazing. But this walk, this Lettermotra walk, really takes you off the beaten track and allows you to see stuff that you never would from a car.
As he traverses the wilderness of the Nephin Mountains, Diarmuid arrives down to Grace O'Malley's Rockfleet Castle, where Roger Hughes imparts all there is to know about the infamous Pirate Queen.
The name, the Pirate Queen, it was an easily earned moniker because she was a ferocious woman. Any ships that were going down to Galway, merchant ships, she went out and she said, look, pay a levy or the boats will be taken off or destroyed. There's a myth that supposedly that she had buried, her gold underneath the first floor and that it's been
guarded by a headless horseman now. So
You don't have a shovel, do you?
no,
Let's go and have a look at it.
no problem. There's 4 levels of it, so you know, in times of siege, you know, you could kind of move the people up to the top, where Grania herself actually resided. Underneath it was a corbelled ceiling. They wouldn't be able to burn up to the top chamber because of the ceiling.
So 500 years ago, it must have been quite an idea to have a room of this size, a very substantial room with a stone-built floor, 50-odd foot up in the sky. And she had her own little terrace.
She did indeed, actually. And this is where she surveyed her land, and she could keep an eye on her galleys and keep an eye on her ships and basically everything. As you can see right directly out into the middle of the bay there. So
Any boats that's passing, you go out yourself or you send a crew.
they would have said, well, we'll send out a couple of ships, and
So they'd be chased for their toll.
they would have been chased for the toll to, you know, for their safe passage, so to speak, down to Galway, like.
The beautiful wilderness has impressed him all day.
This is fairly magical. It's Ireland as it was, quiet man Ireland, Ryan's daughter Ireland in a way, and it looks absolutely beautiful. There's a grass pathway, some beautifully built stone walls leading up to an old homestead. It's the silence that draws you in. It makes you think, it makes you kind of blow away the cobwebs of your own life, and then you begin to look further afield and see what you can see. I've been really enjoying this walk, and the route that's set out is really nice and it's a good loop, but something that I believe I shouldn't miss is Burrishoole Abbey, and it's just off our route.
Burrishoole Abbey, a 15th century Dominican friary, is located on a tidal lagoon. It was active for 300 years. Colm Ginnelly shows Diarmuid around.
That's Lake Furnace.
That's Lake Furnace, yes.
So it means that this abbey is just
a couple of minutes from the start of the Greenway, which is ideal.
Beautiful place to have an old building.
Oh, it's a fantastic structure. As you see, it has survived all these years. And as for the Gothic windows, they're very, very rare. It's a Dominican type abbey, like built in 1469 by Richard Burke.
And is this a place that you'd come for your meditation?
Well, you would, yeah. You'd come for a slight meditation here. Like when you look around you, like it's no better place to meditate.
The religious always pick the best places.
They did, yeah. Always the best place, no matter where you see it. The best place is always picked by them.
The walk and the day are coming to a close.
It's always lovely to look at a map after you've conquered the walk. It was a nice gentle walk, perfect for, a young family. And there were a couple of detours to Carrigahooley Castle and Burrishoole Abbey. So it was brilliant. I remember that bridge with all the arches. Really enjoyed that. I was very excited with the notion of Eppy coming with me on a little trip. It's nice to spend some quality time because I travel an awful lot. So to have her in the cart on the back of a bike was great fun. She thought I was her servant. All she needed was a whip. Oh, Daddy, go. The best part of the Greenway for me was the fact that people were out cycling as groups, as families or as friends. People cycling together, having fun. I wanted to come to Mulranny because just the big sea views, those walks. We walk up the Sugarloaf Mountain next to us back home in Wicklow, which is absolutely lovely. So I wanted to take it one step forward, go on a lovely walk. But in Wicklow, when I go up the Sugarloaf, you couldn't cycle up it. So I've been able to cycle along a newly opened roadway, almost in the sky. It was magic.